Hello everyone, welcome back to Wake Up Wednesdays, where our flow is just based off getting into our body, waking up, just starting to find some movement and just gently easing into the day by just really tapping into our space, into our breath, and into our body just right off the bat. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to get started in a tabletop position. So go ahead and come to this tabletop. Stack your wrists under your shoulders and stack your knees underneath your hips. We're going to tuck our toes first and come to actually bring your fingertips to point towards your knees and allow your forearms to point forward. And then just gently send your hips back in space. Maybe find a nice gentle rock side to side. Just engaging in some nice gentle movement into our wrists, our toes, our ankles. Just finding these micro movements to help wake our body up. Kind of send your body forward, maybe find a nice bend into your elbows, and send your hips back. Just feeling this nice deep stretch into your forearms and your wrists. And again, if you hear a scurrying, that's echo. And come to stillness and bring the back of your hands onto your mat and face your fingertips towards one another. So your hands will look like this on your mat. Find a nice gentle rock side to side. You can play around with the amount of sensation you want here by either sending your hips back in space or forward. If you want a little bit more, sending them back will give you a little less sensation. So just play around with that. And then bring your hands into fists and punch your knuckles into the earth. Find nice straight arms, nice stiff wrists, and find a nice gentle rock forward and back. Again, playing around with the amount of sensation. If you want a little bit less, just send your weight back. If you want a little bit more, just send your weight forward. Getting into this nice 360 of our wrists so they can support us throughout our practice today. Now release your fists, bring your palms wide onto your mat, and now you find that stack of your wrists under your shoulders. Untuck your toes, drop your belly, point your tailbone up to the sky, take your gaze up, cow pose. Exhale, bring the movement from the ripple of your tailbone first. Begin to arch your body, drop your chin towards your chest. We find cat pose. Inhale, drop your belly, lift your chin up, point your tailbone to the sky. And exhale, begin to arch your spine, hollow out your front body. Cat pose. Continue this a few times at your own pace. Maybe you close your eyes here, allowing this gentle movement into your body. Maybe you take your cat-cow off the rails if that's something that feels good or that your body wants. Maybe you find these nice big circles of your hips one way, and then taking those circles the other way. Maybe allowing your head, neck, and back to get involved in the circles as well. You can also find maybe a bump of your hips and your head to one side, and then the other. Maybe you find something that I just didn't suggest at all. My voice is always here to guide you. I encourage you to take the authority over your own body and your own practice. So if something is really clicking or just not clicking, just acknowledge that without judgment and just see how you can show up for yourself instead in that present moment. Gently come to stillness, find that nice neutral spine, and find a slight tuck of your tailbone. Really press your palms away from the earth. Tuck your toes, press into your palms, into your toes, bring your knees to a hover for just a moment. Find that tuck of the tailbone to re-engage the core. Take a deep inhale, deep exhale. Take one more inhale. And exhale, send your seat up towards the sky. We find our downward facing dog. You can maybe narrow your dog or widen your dog, just depending on where you want to show up today in space. And find a nice gentle pedal of your feet. This might be the first down dog of the day. Might be for the first kind of movement of the day. So take it slow. Be gentle with yourself. Just see how your body's showing up in space right now. Maybe you bend one leg and straighten the other. Maybe you bend and straighten both knees. See what works best for you. By that firm press into your palms to send your chest away from the mat and come to find stillness. Send the energy point from your heels down towards your mat and really try to send your hips up towards the ceiling as if you're going to sit your butt and your thighs onto the ceiling above you. See how that changes the sensation here in your down dog. Allow your head to dangle in between your biceps. Take a deep inhale and a deep exhale. Inhale, take your gaze forward. Lift your heels high and begin to ripple your spine forward. We find plank pose. Take a deep inhale here. Exhale, bend your knees, send your seat back and up, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your heels high, ripple your spine forward, plank pose. And exhale, send your seat back and up, downward facing dog. Continue this a few more times at your own pace. Syncing breath to movement and maybe closing your eyes if that feels good. Just waking up the entire spine now, getting the entire body involved into the equation. Your next inhale, come to this plank position. You find this nice firm stance here, and that slight tuck of your tailbone. Send the breath into your center to engage your core through your breath and the position of your body. Take a deep inhale, and exhale, drop your knees, drop your chest, drop your chin. Shine your chest forward, roll your shoulders back. We find Baby Cobra Bhujangasana. Rather than crunching your neck up and back, try to send your gaze out in front of you. Lift so high in your chest that maybe your fingertips become light for a moment. Take another inhale. And exhale, press into your palms, tuck your toes. Send your hips up, downward facing dog. Be deep inhale, reach your right leg up back behind you and square your hips off. So send your right hip down in line with your left hip and flex your back foot. So maybe your right leg doesn't lift as high as you're used to if you have that squareness in the hips. Take another inhale and exhale. Now stack your hips, open that right hip up, bend your right knee. And find some nice big hip circles going one way. Making really big circles with your knee. And then the other way. Making it maybe bigger than you're used to and really taking up space here. On your next inhale, come to stillness. Straighten your right leg. Square your hips off again. Flex your right foot. Take a deep inhale. Take your gaze forward. And exhale, bring your knee in towards your chest. Hold here for a breath. Take a deep inhale. And exhale, step your right foot over towards the left side. Swivel your left heel down, lift your left hand up. We find a fallen triangle. Lift your hips just an inch higher to the sky. Take a deep inhale. And exhale, bring your left hand down. Bring your right knee back into your chest. Swivel your back heel high. Take a deep inhale. And exhale, step your right foot forward. We find runner's lunge. Lift out of your pelvic floor. Square your hips off. You find lightness, so much so that maybe you can lift your fingertips up. Another deep inhale. And exhale. Inhale, swivel your back foot down. So your back foot's at like a 45-degree angle. And cartwheel your arms up. We find Warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2. Ready to play around with your stance here. And take a peek at your front toes. If you can't see your toes, send your right knee back in space a little bit. And find this nice broadness here in your chest. Take a peek back at those back fingers to check that your left wrist juts out from your left shoulder. And same with the front with your right wrist and your right shoulders. Take another deep inhale. And exhale, flip your front palm, reach forward, inhale. And exhale, exalt your warrior. You can have your left arm long down your side or find a half bind here. Really roll that right shoulder back in space. Take a deep inhale. And exhale, straighten your front leg. We find exalted triangle pose. Find that tuck of your tailbone, that nice tall spine. Inhale. And exhale, open your arms wide. Bump your hips towards the back of the room. Reach your right fingers forward as much as you can until you can't anymore. And then exhale, bring your right hand down. Maybe your right hand falls onto your shin. Maybe it's on a block here. Option always for that block. That's support to bring the earth a little bit higher. Maybe bring your fingertips or your palm to the inside of your right foot. Really try to wrap that right hip under and send that left shoulder back in space to open your chest wide. So rather than sending that left arm super far back, maintain that stack of your left wrist over your left shoulder and twist from your torso and your hips. Inhale. Exhale, stay. Inhale, we can play around with half or full bind here. Half bind, bend your left arm and bring your hand to the outside of your right thigh. This is half bind. Maybe we stay here. You want to play around with a full bind. Send your right shoulder to the inside of your right knee. Reach your right hand underneath your right thigh. Then maybe your fingertips come to interlock. Maybe they barely graze. Maybe we're just sending the energy point towards each other. Really try to find that firm stance and straighten both legs. Press into the knife edge of your back foot. Inhale. And exhale, we stay. Inhale, open your arms wide. Open back up into your triangle pose, Trikonasana. And exhale, take your gaze down. Swivel your left hand down to frame your front foot. Bend into your front knee, swivel that back heel up. We find this runner's lunge. Take a nice deep inhale. And exhale, send your weight back. And then launch your body forward. Oop. And if you fall out of it, that's okay. We find Virabhadrasana 3, Warrior 3. Be supported or unsupported. Blocks can be underneath your hands. I want you to focus on that wrap down of that left hip and that flex of that back foot. Take a deep inhale here. And exhale. Inhale, begin to lever your body forward. Drop your head down towards your shin. We find standing split. You can play around with balance here. Maybe you wrap that right hand around your right ankle and see how that feels. Maybe you play around with wrapping both hands around your ankle. See what that does for the pose here for you. Inhale, send that left leg a little higher. And exhale, begin to bend your left knee. Send it behind your right leg as you begin to bend your right leg. Send your left shin down. And then send your hips down into the mat. We come to a seat. Bring your right foot to the outside of your left knee. And try to find both sit bones into the earth. We can stay here. If this is a little challenging, your right foot can always be on the inside of your knee too. That left foot is by your right butt cheek. Take a nice deep inhale. Reach your left arm up, find length. And exhale. Send your right hand behind you and begin to send your left arm to the outside of your right thigh. You can also just grip it here with your left elbow. You start to twist. That right hand is back behind you for support, light touch of your fingertips. And with each inhale, you find a little bit more length. And on that exhale, you twist a little deeper. Try to bring that twist from your torso rather than just your neck. Take another inhale. And exhale, we stay. Inhale. We'll slowly begin to unravel. Bring our chest forward. Then bring our chest over towards the left side. We press into our left foot. Begin to send your hips up. We slowly swivel around. We're facing the back. And then we keep swiveling over towards the left. We come to sit our seat down And we find the twist on the other side. That was a little tricky. Maybe we made it. If not, that's fine. Just come into a seat on your butt. That right foot, that right heel is in towards your left glute. And that left leg, that foot either lands to the outside of a right thigh or on the inside. Try to find the squareness of your hips. Inhale, find the length in your spine and send your left hand back behind you. You can find that wrap of our right arm around our left knee, or inhale, reach that right arm up, find length. Exhale, send that right arm to the outside of your left leg. Find this twist. Inhale is where we find that length, and exhale is where we twist a little deeper. I invite you to close your eyes here. In twists, we have a tendency to take our gaze into the twist, and that's our neck doing the work. So by closing your eyes, you take the sight out of it, and you can really focus on the body doing the twist rather than the gaze. And each inhale, you find that length. And each exhale, you twist maybe a little bit deeper. You find that half bind. Another deep inhale. And exhale, twist just an inch further. On your next inhale, slowly begin to unravel. Face your chest forward, and I'll walk your hands over to the right side. Press into both feet, into both hands, swivel your hips. We're facing the back of the mat now. We're kind of in this wide leg forward fold. Begin to walk your hands forward, send your feet back. We're in downward facing dog, facing the back of our mat now. Reorient yourself in space. We're going to take the second flow, the second side from the back of the mat. So just acknowledge how maybe that makes you feel, just being in a way that maybe you weren't expecting, just without judgment, seeing what maybe you can find here. Your next inhale, we'll send our left leg up to the sky. We find that three-leg dog. Wrap that left hip down so it's in line with your right hip, and really flex your back foot. Take a deep inhale. And exhale, now stack your left hip on top of your right. Bend your left knee and find these nice big hip circles on your left side, going one way. Really taking up space, and then go the other way. Allow them to be nice and big. Maybe there's cricks and cracks. And on your next inhale, straighten your left leg long back behind you. Wrap your left hip down so it's in line with your right hip. A nice deep inhale, take your gaze forward. And exhale, bring your knee towards your chest. We hold for a breath, take a deep inhale. And exhale, send your left foot over to the right side. Swivel your right heel down. Lift your right arm up. We find this fallen triangle. Lift your hips up higher. Take a deep inhale. And exhale, swivel your right hand down. Swivel your back heel up. Hold your left knee in towards your chest. Inhale. Exhale, step your left foot forward. Swivel your back heel down. Cartwheel your arms open. We find Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. Send your left knee over towards the left side. Find that press into the back knife edge of your foot. Take a deep inhale, find length. And exhale, sink a little bit deeper into your front leg. Inhale, flip your front palm, reach forward. Exhale, exalted warrior. Right arm is down that right leg. And we find that half bind. We try to swivel the hips forward. Inhale. And exhale, press into your front leg. Straighten your front leg. We find this exalted triangle. Find this tuck of your tailbone, the nice and tall spine. Wrap that top shoulder back in space. Inhale. And exhale, cartwheel your arms open. Begin to bump your hips towards the back of the room. Reach your left fingertips forward until you can't anymore. And then exhale, we find triangle pose. I want you to really focus on finding this length in your body. So if you start to hunch in on yourself, bring that block. You bring your hand to your shin. Really focus on that wrap back of your right shoulder. Take a deep inhale. And exhale, maybe you find that bind. And bring your right hand behind your back. Maybe we stay here. If you want to take it further, take that left shoulder to the inside of your left knee. Wrap that left arm under, and maybe you find your fingertips. You just send the energy point toward one another. Take a deep inhale. And exhale, we stay. Inhale, open back up towards your Trikonasana, your triangle pose. And exhale, swivel your right hand down. Swivel your back heel up. We find this runner's lunge. Lift out of your pelvic floor, square your hips off. Take a deep inhale. And exhale, send your weight back and launch your body forward. Oops. We find Virabhadrasana 3, Warrior 3. It's going to be supported or unsupported. If you have a couch like me that's assisting me, or these blocks. Hands can be at heart center or out in front of you. Nice firm press to find the length in your body. See how long and tall you can get. Take a deep inhale. And exhale, slowly lever your body forward. Send your right leg up. We find standing split. Option to play around with balance here. Maybe you wrap that left hand around your left ankle. Maybe you wrap both hands around your left ankle. See what that does for you in this pose. And see what it does with your balance. Take another deep inhale. And exhale, slowly begin to bend your right knee. Send your right knee down to the mat. Your left knee begins to bend. You send your hips back, and we're seated again. We're going to uncross our legs. Reach our legs long out in front of us. Come into Dandasana, staff pose. Remove the flesh from your sit bones. Find this nice, firm stance, firm seat. You're going to find Paschimottanasana, seated forward fold. Take a deep inhale, reach your arms up, find length. And exhale, begin to hinge at your torso, at your hips, reach forward. Maintain this length in your spine. You pause right before you start to arch your spine. So maybe it's here, that nice length. Maybe we stay here. You want to take it a little bit further, take a little bit more restorative. Inhale one more time, find that length. And exhale, begin to arch your spine. Roll your spine forward, reach your fingertips forward, and we fold. Hands can rest by your shins. Maybe they're at your ankles, maybe they're around your feet. Allow your head to rest in space. Allow your shoulders to be heavy. Begin to tap back into your breath. Take a deep inhale and a deep exhale. Inhale, slowly begin to ripple your spine up. Send your hands behind you. Just scoot your seat forward a little bit. We're going to find Matsyasana, fish pose. Extend your arms out in front of us and slowly come to lay down on your back. We're going to bring our palms underneath our seat. So your hands are going to kind of be like this underneath your seat. Kind of like a triangle pose with your hands. Bring your hands underneath your sit bones. Really scoot your elbows towards one another. Now lift your chest up, look towards your toes, and really scoot your elbows towards each other even more. Really pop your chest forward. Inhale, find this arch in your spine. And exhale, send the crown of your head back towards the mat. The crown of your head should just lightly touch the mat. And the stability and firmness of this pose comes from the press of your forearms into the mat. Allow your neck to dangle in space. Take a deep inhale. And exhale, we stay. Take one more inhale. And exhale, slowly begin to lift your head, neck, chest. Look towards your toes. Release your elbows. Release your head. Beautiful. Roll your wrists. Rock your head side to side. Give your knees a nice big hug in. Find a nice gentle rock side to side. Releasing any tension from the lower back. Extend your arms out long into a T or to a cactus position. Take a deep inhale. And exhale, send your knees over towards the right side. Maintain that press of both shoulders into the mat. And then you can send your gaze over towards the left. Taking this nice gentle twist. Help bring the body out and slow the body down. Your next inhale, take your gaze back up to the ceiling. Open your arms wide and send your knees back in towards center. Find that neutral spine. We inhale. And exhale, send your knees over towards the left side. Maintain that press of both shoulders into the earth. You take your gaze over towards the right side and close your eyes here. Acknowledge maybe where you're still holding tension in your body and where maybe you can release a little bit. Your next inhale, slowly bring your head back to center. Send your knees into your chest. Find that nice neutral spine. Inhale. And exhale, open knees out to the side. Reach your hands in between your thighs. Grab the outside of your feet with your hands. We find happy baby. A nice gentle rock side to side. You straighten one leg and then the other. You straighten both legs. Finding any nice last gentle movement that feels good in your body here before we find our final resting pose of class, Shavasana. Your next inhale, hug your knees in towards your chest. Wrap your arms around your knees. Bring your forehead towards your knees. Give yourself a big, tight squeeze. Hold, hold, hold. And exhale, fully release down. Open your body wide. We come into our final resting pose, Shavasana. Allow your feet to open wide to either side of the mat. And allow your arms to really take up space here. On a slight tilt of your chin towards your chest to help find a nice long spine. Maybe your palms face up if you're looking to receive a little bit more energy. Maybe they face down for a little bit more of that grounding energy. And slowly begin to release and surrender to the stillness. If you have more time and you'd like to stay here longer in Shavasana, please do. Otherwise, find a nice gentle wiggle of your fingers and toes, inviting movement back into your body. Maybe you rock your head side to side. Then roll over to one side and just fold yourself into a fetal position here for just a moment. Hug your knees and chin towards your chest. Nice inhale. And exhale, slowly begin to press your way up into a comfortable seat. We'll close class all together. Bring your hands into Anjali Mudra, prayer position. Thank you all so much for practicing with me and everyone else here today. The light in me bows to the light in you. Hari Om Tat Sat. Thank you. I'll see you all next week.